All right. We are back. Jeez, it feels like my heart is pounding. We have been a little bit behind schedule today, and we were also worried about the load shedding. So it's like a double stress, but we are here. We are live. Welcome everybody to Papa G's house. And for everybody who's listened so far, up until now, thank you so much for joining. Little housekeeping notes as usual. Don't forget to hit a subscribe on the Papa G's House YouTube page. Hit the little notification button for your updates and when episodes go live and when clips are uploaded and all that kind of jazz. It's always great to sit and chat to you guys and also chat to amazing artists. So I'm super stoked. Things are looking up. What do you guys think of this set, man? I couldn't be happier. But welcome to Papa G's House. Don't forget to follow Papa G's House on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Papa G's House. But most importantly for me, go and check out Papa G's House on YouTube. Subscribe. Brother needs some subscriptions, man. Come on. We've been going some time. But also one thing that I always forget to tell you guys is check out Papa G's House on YouTube, not YouTube, on Spotify and all your streaming platforms, because it's there. You know, if you guys are out on the road, you know, the pandemic has kind of, you know, showed a little bit of a lull. You know, it's not a lull, it's still going on, but at the end of the day, a lot of you guys are out on the road and you guys are traveling. So, you know, hit us up on the audio only platforms and stuff like that. It's good fun. We got a fun episode today, but let me stop rambling about following Papa G's House because I'm excited for this one. It's going to be great. Episode 2 with my boy Art, but we'll get into that shortly. But without further ado, let's get this party started. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to go to Papa G's. Yeah, that's where we're going. Back in your lives, in your ears, and in your face. Welcome to another episode of Papa G's House. I don't even know what episode this is. I think it's episode 74. Episode 2 with the man behind the controls. The man who used to be the man in the chat who is now the man on the controls. How you doing, Art? Let's see you for a second, bro. How you doing?
Besides the stuff up earlier, pretty good, man.
Listen, we're not going to get it 100% of the time, all the time, you know, like old Ron Bergen says. But you know, the fact remains is we're live, we made it. We may not have all the functions and all that kind of stuff that we really wanted to have, in its fruition today.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a hack to get it working.
Yeah, but it's only episode 2, so let's think of the positive side that we made it here on another Thursday, 1 week apart from our last episode. So, yeah, man. But today is a very, very cool episode that I'm looking forward to. It's Brandon Pratt of Red Helen and many more projects that we're going to talk about. But I'm super excited to have the good old doppelganger. You know, I don't know where that came from, but it's going to be cool. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep him waiting. We've already kept him waiting enough. Let's have a chat to Brandon Pratt of Red Helen and more. What's up, my dude? How you doing?
Yo, I'm good. How are you, my bro?
Good. I see you with that Shure SM7B mic, the mic that I drool about every day and I just cannot afford.
Yeah, you know, I wish I could say that this was my microphone, but it's actually owned by the studio, and I'm very fortunate that I get to use it. So, yeah, but no, it's an awesome mic, dude. Like, ever since doing that vocal cover with Joel, I've kind of hijacked this mic until they ask me for it back. So, yeah, but it's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
mic are you using there, if you don't mind my asking?
I've just got a Samsung CO3 El Cheapo condenser. It just seems to work for me. I mean, I'm looking for that sure goodness, but it sure ain't right time for me yet, you know.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
I know, you know what I'm getting on there. So the dad jokes are coming out big time. Even though I'm not a dad, I sound like one.
Oh,
But
dude, I enjoy a good dad joke, bro. I enjoy a good dad joke.
no, for sure, for sure. So
I'm just
first of all,
admiring the doppelgangerness here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you did. We
You're,
we
you're a
rocking the
good-looking
caps
man. You
together.
know what I'm saying?
For sure, for sure. There is definitely, as I was saying off air to you, I said, you know, we were a little bit more of a doppelganger few years ago because I've put on a bit of weight, bro. So it's not quite there anymore. But I'll try and get down to that again so we can.
You and
play
me
some tricks
both,
on
bro.
people.
You and me both.
Nice. But tell me, how things been your side, man? It's been a crazy couple months, crazy year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's dude, it's you know, it's been an interesting year, man. I mean, obviously, you know, with the global pandemic and everything that's happened there and all the things that entails, but it's you know, it's been a fascinating year. I mean, in some ways it's been very, very good. In some ways there's been a lot of challenges, you know. It's like it's been a very, very interesting time, man. But I mean, I can't complain, dude. There are so many people out there that during this period of time have gone through far worse than I have and are in much harder circumstances.
Agreed.
You know, I can't really complain, man. Like, you know, life's good compared to what a lot of other folks have experienced out there. So I'm doing good, my bro. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Look, I'm doing my best to keep myself sane and keep things going. And I've been going through 6 months of renovations at the house, so it's kind of been like a little bit of a nightmare for me. It's having, especially through a pandemic, having 6 people at your house every day, and you feel like I felt like I was hiding in a room for the majority of the part, getting super cabin fever, not knowing what the hell to do with myself. But luckily, the painting is all finished and all is well, and
awesome.
yeah, I'm starting to chill out a little bit more, playing.
That's killer, dude. And you're staying at the same place that when we stayed there that time?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I wanted to chat about that down
Nice
the line.
one.
We might as well chat about it now. I just remember, what year was that, dude? When you guys came down and played the show?
If I remember correctly, I believe that's when Trading Paths for Pathways came out. So I think that was 2017, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
So it's been a minute. It's been a little stretch of time, you know.
For sure.
But
dude,
dude,
I haven't seen you forever.
Dude, it does feel like it's been forever, man. I mean, like the last time we were supposed to be down in Cape Town was, I think, in 2018, and that was the time where we freaking landed up missing our flight, unfortunately. So it's been a minute, dude. It's been a minute. I think the last time we played in Cape Town was Winterfest, which I think may have also been 2017, if I remember correctly.
Jeez, is it that long? That's 4 years ago,
I think it is, dude. But dude, that's the weird thing about this whole pandemic thing, dude, is it's like the last year in one way has felt like it's flown by, and another way it feels like it's taken forever. So it's like I feel like I'm in this weird time vortex where I don't know, like, you know, it's like I say 2017, and one part it feels like 10 years ago, on the other part it feels like it's freaking 2 days ago. You know, it's this bizarre time warp at the moment.
I didn't even know what day it is, other than the fact that we chose Thursdays to be our podcast days. But other than that, sometimes I lose track. I mean,
totally,
Art came to the spot today, and he was like, "What date is it?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." It's just the way things are nowadays. You know, I work from home. I mean, you know, I'm sure you work down the road from the studio and all that kind of jazz. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I mean, you know, we were very, very fortunate during the pandemic that like most of the work that we do at the studio, we could do from home. So those 5 weeks where we were in the hard lockdown, you know, we were very fortunate that we could do, you know, 90% of what we do from home, which is great. So while a lot of other industries like sort of slowed down and people had to pivot and sort of do other things and that kind of thing, we were actually very fortunate we were able to sort of like motor through, you know. So for the most part, you know, we're still working at home probably 80% of the time kind of thing. It's actually been an interesting time for us because we originally as a studio, sorry to go into a subject.
No. Listen, you know, this was going to be a part of the thing. Even when I posted the teaser that you were going to be on the show, Danny Harris of Oh God says, "Listen, we need to touch on the audio production. So let's talk about Audio Militia right now because that's where we're at."
Well, first up, what's up to Danny? How's it
Yeah,
going,
for
dude?
sure, dude.
Oh,
Nice.
speaking of which, if you don't mind, man, I just want to just quickly throw a shout out real quick, if you
Go
don't
for it.
mind. Two little things. So one to my mom and dad and my siblings in the United States who are currently watching right now, which is really
Oh,
really
wow.
cool. So
Awesome.
it's nice knowing they're on the other side of the world. And I must be honest, dude, like for the last, this is probably the closest I've gotten to playing a show in like over a year doing this podcast. So I've been pacing the
It's
apartment
amazing.
for the last half an hour out of like almost what felt like stage fright. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear
But
you,
that's
dude.
nowhere near as nervous as what Eric would have felt like yesterday, because Eric proposed to his girlfriend yesterday and she said yes. So
Wow,
big
dude.
congratulations to those
Congratulations.
two.
That's fantastic. We're talking about Eric, your guitarist, Eric,
That's it.
Gerber. Or
That's it.
Gerber, whatever.
Yeah.
Congratulations, dude. Oh, there's Art going,
Yeah.
what's up?
Oh yeah.
Nice one, dude. Congratulations to
So,
Eric. That's
so I just had to
amazing.
throw some love out there real quick, if you don't mind.
Sweet. No, dude. And you know what? To be honest with you, we've gotten to a bit of a habit in the show. You know, whenever I interview someone, somehow one of the mothers will get on the call and we'll feature. So sending love to the Pratt family over in the United States. So they did immigrate like about 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah. So I've got three siblings. I've got two brothers and a sister, and then obviously my mom and dad. So my not the youngest brother, but my younger, because I'm the oldest, kid in the family. So
Aren't you a twin?
my younger, no, the youngest two are twins. Well,
Okay,
it's kind
sorry,
of a
then you're
funny
twins in
story.
the
It's kind of a
family,
funny
yeah.
story because we're four kids, but my brother, who's just younger than myself, we were born on the same day, 2 years apart. But then the youngest two are twins. So we're like four
Okay.
kids, but 2 birthdays a year, which is kind of odd, So
It's
you would think that would get
amazing.
like double the amount of presents, but it was more the kind of thing where the parents are like, so this one's for you guys to share. Oh, thanks, Ma.
That's awesome. Look, I mean, it probably makes
I'm gonna
it
get a
easy
message
for
on
your
WhatsApp
folks,
for that one.
Well, let's be honest. It probably makes it easy for your folks. They got
Oh,
two birthdays to worry about instead of one.
100%. But yeah,
No,
but
that's
my
amazing.
brother, whom I share a birthday with, and my little sister, they moved to the States about 6 years ago, and then my parents moved there about 3 years ago. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, which
That's
is
amazing.
super
And
cool, man.
whereabouts in the States are they living?
So they're sort of just north of Miami, so about half an hour's drive north of Miami, so Florida side.
Okay, awesome.
So beaches and palm trees and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Look, and listen, I follow the UFC, and you know what? Apparently Florida doesn't have COVID, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
totally, dude. They,
it's
they
like
certainly
completely
act that
open
way.
and
That's for
stuff.
sure.
That's amazing, dude. But glad to know that your parents are happy, safe, and they're enjoying themselves out in Florida.
Yeah, very much so, very much so. I mean, my dad is from America, so my dad, was born and raised in the US. So, for him, it's like he's happy to be in his home country and like closer to his family,
For
that
sure.
side and everything like that. And they're doing well, which is awesome. So, so far so good. They're having a really really good time. So hoping we'll get to go and see them soon.
For sure. I spent 6 months living in Breckenridge, Colorado, and
Wow, dude.
the Pratt family, please can you have me? I want to come back. I love the States so much. It's like crazy. I've still,
Totally, dude.
I just did a ski season. I still to this day, I have my snowboard hanging up on my wall because it's just honestly was one of the best times of my life.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's super cool. I mean, we were also there like end of 2019, sort of right. Well, we got back late Jan 2020, right? So so at that point, COVID was just sort of like a whisper, but we knew something was happening. But my wife and I, we got married in December of 2019, and then we headed over to the US for for honeymoon that side. So part of it was going and visiting my mom and dad and seeing where the whole family is. And I hadn't visited them up until this point, so it was really nice getting to see where they live, get to see like what the area looks like. And I mean, I've seen it all on Zoom calls and videos and stuff, but it was so nice to actually see where they are. And we got to take a road trip, my wife and I, for our honeymoon. We took a road trip down to Key West, which was like a lifelong dream of mine. It's like this little tiny island, halfway between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, and you're driving, over you're literally driving on a highway over the ocean, right? So it's like, the 7 Mile Bridge is like 11 or so kilometers of just highway, and you can sort of just see like the land in the distance behind and ahead of you, and to the right is just the Gulf of Mexico, and to the left is just the Atlantic Ocean, and it's absolutely beautiful, man. So yeah, definitely, I love the United States as well, man, and I'm looking forward to going back there sometime in the near future when traveling is a thing.
Amazing. What you want to pop in there, Art?
Besides the echo again.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Okay.
This. I don't know, Brandon, if you know the new philosophy we have is that if ever we make an audio or video production error, we have to drink. So cheers, bud.
But we got some comments in the chat here. We got some water. Pratt, thanks for the shout out, my boy.
Oh, nice. Sandra, what's up, Sandra?
That's my mama.
Pratt. Hello from Florida, USA.
Yes.
Robert Pratt. That's me.
That's me.
That's awesome. You're never too middle to have your mom give you a shout out when you're on a podcast. I'm sorry.
Nah, dude. Listen, I had Rick Shields on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
and, yeah, and his mom called in. We were like, "What's up?" And then who else? I can't remember who else it was. It was anyway. I can't remember. But moving back to, oh, you got it. Who was it? Oh, okay.
What?
No, I see you popped up there, so I thought you wanted to say something.
JP Singh is also commenting here. What up, chomas?
There we go. One Day Sky
What's
Boys.
up, JP?
Jam Pack Productions.
And then Dane Canterbury just saw Art crack a smile. That's some pretty good CG.
Nice, bro. Well, thank you everybody in the chat. Listen, keep the chat going. We're going to get to it a little later and all that kind of jazz. But first, we're going to chat. We're going to carry on chatting about Audio Militia. We were on that, and then we got to the whole family. We love the Pratt family. We love you, Florida, and all that kind of jazz. But let's go back to you, dude. So you were working from home. You can do 80% of the work at home. But I'm sure you like itching. Your engineers want to get in the studio, dude. I'm sure.
For sure, dude. Well, you know what's really cool, man, is like a really cool opportunity came up during, because we originally had 3 branches, right? So in Joburg's side, we had our Ferndale branch, we have a Bligari branch, and we had a Bryanston branch. Bryanston branch being the OG, the one that's been there since the beginning, you know. And a really interesting opportunity came up where an opportunity to actually purchase a property, and instead of having 3 separate studios, we still have the one in Bligari, but we've actually closed the ones in Bryanston. We closed the one in Ferndale, and we've just bought a brand new gorgeous property in now I've gone freaking blank on the bloody area.
It's all good.
How have I got it? Was literally right there. But it's super close to Rosebank, so it's just down Oxford Drive, and it's it'll come to me in a bit. It'll pop up in a bit, but it's this absolutely gorgeous old building from I think it was built in like 1935 or something like that. So instead of having the 3 studios, we're going to have the one satellite studio in Bligari, and we're going to have this beautiful, gorgeous studio that's currently being built now in the new location. So it's been a very, very exciting time, man. So we're all sort of, when we're not working at home, we're sharing the one satellite studio. But, every time I go to the new spot, I mean, I unfortunately haven't been too involved with the building side of things because I've been at home, doing the audio end of things. But, a lot of the other
bills,
dudes,
man.
What's that?
Got to pay the bills, bro. You got to do you still got to get the graft in.
For sure, dude, for sure. But dude, but the new location, every time I go there, the work they put into it just absolutely looks freaking phenomenal. And it's going to be such a beautiful space, man. Like, I cannot wait for people to get to see what the new spot's going to look like. It's got this awesome old world meets new world. It's just, and it's so nice. It's like, a lot of our previous studios were in like business park kind of things, and really nice business parks, don't get me wrong. But what's cool about this is it's like the environment almost feels, for the lack of a better word, like zen. It's like you drive through the gate. It's this nice, beautiful long driveway through this gorgeous garden, and you go in there and you're just in this awesome little bubble, and you just get to like focus on being creative, and clients will be able to come in there and just chill out and be out of the hustle for a little bit. So no, it's great, dude. We're very, very fortunate, and I love my job, dude. I feel very, very fortunate to get to do what I get to do, dude, which is amazing. So
yeah, I mean,
and big shout out to the Audio Militia team, man, to all the guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how big is your team? That was my next question, dude.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, what's really cool about it is like, there's a very, very cool like band vibe to where we work, because a lot of us that work there are musicians. So the 3 guys who started the company, it's Craig Hawkins, the lead singer of Pestroy, better known as Tripwire. Craig and Paul from 16 Stitch. Oh yeah, dude. I mean,
big fan.
I still, it still blows my mind, dude. I mean, like, because like besides Craig, the other two owners is Nick and Paul from Newtown Knife Gang, aka 16 Stitch, right?
Okay,
So
nice.
it still blows my mind that
Nick's the
I
drummer,
get to
right?
work. Yeah, Nick's the drummer and Paul's the guitar player.
Okay, yeah.
Totally, the guy who jams the 7-string.
Yeah, dude. He played a couple of stints with Sarangas or Caesar back in the day.
He did, yeah. You're right, dude. 100%. Yeah,
no. And I was always like, dude, that drum is so epic, and I didn't even know the connection. Didn't even know.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he even had the dreads at one stage. I think he was in the video for Gasoline, wasn't he?
I think so, dude. I'm actually not sure. I must check that out. Nick with dreads. I can't say I've seen him with dreads. I must check that out.
Yeah, definitely wasn't John Humphrey. So it's interesting.
Sure.
Like, but so cool, dude. At the end of the day, I'd love to get him on for his old 16
I'm sure he would love to come on,
like
dude.
that.
I'm sure he'd love to come on. I'll give him a shout and put in a good word for you there, dude. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, thank you, dude. I'll appreciate it. Nice. But so team of 4, and
well, I mean that's just the three dudes who own it. So I mean, like besides that, you've obviously got me. Then also we've got Richard Staub, who was originally with the Dead Will Tell, Conqueror, now Weed Dealer. Etienne Hechler, he used to be in Wrestlerish, now he's in Weed Dealer. We got Sims Kula, who is one of the lead dudes in the Muffins, which is an awesome African gospel group. We got Sammy Slavert, who was a very, very well-known photographer in the scene. She also
Sammy,
works.
yeah.
So very, I mean, who else is there? I mean, there's Garrick, who was Garrick Jones, who was quite big in like the EDM scene. We got Umpile. So we got quite a big, I think we're a team of 12 or 13 folks.
Jeez,
Also,
dude,
and then not to forget,
totally.
Totally. I mean, like, and our executive producer is Kath Grenfell, who's obviously a living legend in the South African music scene, dude. So it's always a fun vibe, dude, because like we can all sort of relate.
Bro, when she left 5FM, I was like, Catherine's not there, but was she still there? Dude. I don't know. I have no idea. It's been so long, so that's crazy.
Nah, she's not at 5FM anymore.
Yeah,
no.
I know.
But, dude,
I mean,
but you know what's cool about it, dude, is like I grew up being like a massive Pestroy fan, a massive 16 Stitch fan, a massive Dead Will Tell fan, a massive like. I mean, obviously Kath is a legend, and like. The 15-year-old self in me couldn't believe that at my wedding I've got like members of 16 Stitch, members of Pestroy. Kath Grenfell DJ'd my wedding. It's like I was like, this is just freaking unreal, So it's never lost on me how damn cool that is, But it's cool, man, because it's a very musician culture, and it's cool because we all have tour stories we can share. We all like, have done the band thing, and we can all laugh about things that band and musician people can laugh about. So it's great, dude. It's awesome, man. I feel very, very fortunate.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're so passionate about it and passionate about the people that you work with, which is the most important thing at all. If you're not having fun, then what's the point, So it seems like you're really enjoying yourself.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's cool because it's like, I remember, reading through the liner notes of like Pestroy's like The Enemy Within album, right? And seeing like mixed by Tripwire at Audio Militia, and I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, cool. And then like going through 16 Stitch and being like mixed by Paul Norwood, and then Newtown Knife Gang mixed by Paul Norwood at Audio Militia. So I was, fresh out of music college, having studied music production and all that jazz, and which is, I'm sure we'll get to this, but that's where I met, Eric and all the dudes, and so it was like, wow, imagine the opportunity, not only being a massive fan of the bands, but the opportunity to get to learn from these dudes. Like, how insane 100%. Would that be, so immediately I found their website, I found Paul and everybody's emails, and I dropped them a mail, and I was like, guys, like, if an opportunity opens up, please, like, keep me in mind. I would absolutely love it, So, and it was a while, man. I mean, I kept in contact with the guys probably for a good 3 years. It's like, I think I mailed Paul in like December of 2012. And then the opportunity to work there opened up in 2016. So I tried to be as politely ferocious as possible, and I would like, like if they were like, cool, man, well, drop us a mail in a month's time, I'd set like a reminder in my phone, and a month later, boom, I dropped them a mail, Sick. And what's funny about that is obviously I knew the guys from the band world, so I knew them from Red Helen and playing shows with them, and it got to a point where they're like, well, his band's pretty good, so maybe he'll be pretty good at this. So I'm very fortunate the band vibe helped me.
No, of course. I mean, listen, you got to put essentially you got to put the work into practice. Doesn't it? Do you feel like it all like intertwines? Obviously, you have to have the live production with the actual studio production. Kind of like you have to have that understanding between the two.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like, it's funny, the whole thing, because it's like, the first sort of, I mean, obviously I studied music production at college, and you do little projects there and stuff like that. And then once I finished at college, I started doing other little side gigs here and there, like working as a real estate agent and as a music teacher and stuff, saving up to buy studio gear. And all in that time, I was cutting my teeth, apart from playing shows, as a musician and an artist. I was doing live sound on the weekends, at like churches and stuff like that, to cut my teeth and learn how to engineer and learn how to do it quickly and that kind of thing. And it definitely helped. It's like by the time I was offered the opportunity at Audio Militia, I had a more of an idea of how to work with audio and how to actually do it. I wasn't, a complete novice. And I'm very fortunate, man. I mean, I've had some incredible mentors in my life, both as a musician and from a production standpoint. It's like guys like Clint Watts, Dylan Ellis, all these dudes who were massively, it's like I could go to those guys and ask them any question, and they're super happy to like share information and help me, and they're such flipping wonderful people, and I'm so grateful for the influence in my life. But it's kind of cool because I use the live sound side of things. I love live sound, but I've also had some of the most stressful experiences of my life doing live sound. You can ask Ashley Gaisford about that, where I had to save my ass the one day because shit was going down. Not the funnest time. But it's cool, dude. I mean, it's like, because when I joined Audio Militia, I was particularly interested in, obviously the goal was to be a guy who works with artists, who works with bands, who mixes bands and stuff like that. And I still love doing that. But the opportunity that popped up at Audio Militia was to be a final mix engineer. So doing sound design and mixing commercials for television and working on that kind of stuff. So it was a little different from what I wanted, but from being a massive Star Wars fan growing up, it's like, you can't not have watched all the Ben Burt videos and looked into it. And they had at college, they had a very small post-production class that dealt with sound design, but nothing majorly in depth. But it always kind of tickled my fancy. It's like I was like, that's fascinating. Like the train of thought to like record like this random ass thing and then mangle it and create it to do something else. That's fascinating, right? So when I joined Audio Militia, I was like, it's not exactly working with artists, but it's doing something that I'm still interested in. It's still in the realm of audio, and frankly, there's a musicality to it. Maybe you're not using like notes, maybe you're not using like harmony or whatever, but there's still a rhythm to it. There's a musicality to it. It's a different kind of musicality. And the best sound designers, I still think, are people who are musicians. So I joined with the intention of from a professional perspective being a sound designer, but then on the side being like, hey Craig, hey Paul, don't you want to teach me how to mix bands, please? Which the beautiful thing is they were all too happy to do that, which is amazing. And then when I joined the company, I realized that a very, very big part of what Audio Militia does is they write music for commercials. They write music for short films, cartoons, all that kind of stuff. And it's funny, up until that point, I'd always seen that as the kind of thing of like, oh, well, the only guys who get to write music for a living, like score and that kind of thing, is like Hans Zimmer and John Williams and the absolute legends who are all my heroes, right? But then when I entered Audio Militia, I was like, holy crap, like these are dudes that are making a living like writing music. How damn cool is that? And that sparked my interest in that. And that's one of the things I'm extremely passionate about as well, is actually, scoring and film score and writing music for film and commercial and stuff. So I'm the really cool thing about the Audio Militia thing is it was an awesome springboard for other interests, and the cool thing is there was an opportunity to do a little bit of everything, which is great, and being in a band, dude, having a studio that you can go and record at, I mean, like, that's killer.
It's dipping your toes into each little category, and and with everything that you do, you gain a little bit of experience in whatever category you're doing, and all it is doing is improving you as an engineer, right?
That's it, dude. 100%. And at the end of the day, dude, I think it's
10,000 hours. They say what?
That's it, dude. Yeah, 10,000 hours.
It's like yes.
Who was the dude? Was it Malcolm Gladwell who said that? I think it was, if I'm correct. His book Outliers is awesome, by the way. That's worth a read. But you're totally true, dude. I mean, like the thing with art is art informs art.
The 10,000 hours was some. Shit, I can't remember his name.
Maybe look it up. We can see.
Yeah. Pull it up, Jamie.
Carrying what you're saying, Brandon.
But yeah, but I think you're totally right, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like art informs art. You know, it's like there's a reason people who are musicians are so often graphic artists and are so often engineers and are so often things within the creative sphere, you know, because it's like, you know, that technique you learned in visual art, you know, about like, I mean, random example, light and shade, you know, using negative space, using that or whatever is naturally going to inform the way you look at how you write music, you know, that dynamics, 100%. So it's like, you know, when you start becoming, because, you know, it's funny when I was in college, you know, it's like I started, you know, out with guitar and that was my main subject was guitar. And then from there I transitioned into music production. And I always thought music theory was interesting, but you know, since then, you know, the last couple of years, I've really developed an absolute love and passion for it. And it's amazing how music theory and the understanding of what goes on there helps inform engineering, and how engineering has made me a better musician because you think about things in different terms. So it's awesome, man. I mean, art informs art, dude. And it can only make you better in the various art forms that you're involved with.
For sure.
You know?
And at Papa G's heart, art informs Gareth.
There you go. And if it informs Gareth as my doppelganger, it informs me.
There we go. That's amazing. That's another dad joke for you, dude. Another dad joke for you. That's amazing, dude. It's so nice to hear someone who has such passion for what they do, and how you like to, you know, like incorporate that all in what you do as a musician as well as an engineer.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
So let's go.
I tend to talk a lot, so if I ramble, feel free to stop me.
Listen, these are my best. What you got, Art?
I did a search for 10,000 hours and only got the search results for a song by Justin Bieber.
10,000 hours, 10,000 days. We know that song, bro.
Very interesting.
I'm not going to start singing it, though. But I know it. I know the song. It's actually a pretty good song.
If I heard it, I'd probably know it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sing it for you. I'm telling you now, Brandon, I'm not singing it for you. But, dude, I want to say, first of all, I love the rockets behind you.
Thank you very much. By the way, on that note, I want to apologize for looking like I'm in my freaking closet right now. I was thinking about putting
looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with working at home, man. It's like the room that I'm in here is essentially just bigger than like a walk-in closet. So I pretty much am in my closet right now. So raw and real, I guess.
Were you not getting any room sound? There's lots of dampening behind you with the clothing. You're getting a nice,
it actually sounds great. That's a good point. It's like it actually dampens it really nice. Exactly, that's a very, very good point.
You've got a lot of soundproofing there. So I think we can expect the new Red Helen album to be recorded from that room because it's got such good acoustics. But yeah, dude,
100%.
Listen, all I want to see is your face, and I can see your face clearly. So I'm very happy about that, dude.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
So let's go before you get into Audio Militia and stuff. I've seen photos of you where you have a bright blue or a very metallic or dark blue Ibanez guitar. You had short cropped, like spiky hair. You had the eye ring already. So like, tell me, where did your journey begin as a musician? Because I'm actually, I'm fascinated by, you know, how a lot of our great vocalists always start on guitar or always start playing an instrument, and then they develop their, you know, their calling essentially.
For sure. Well, I'll try and keep it brief, but
listen, the load shedding only kicks in at 8. As long as we good, we're good.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's an interesting one. It's, you know, the more I think about it, it's like, you know, I would attribute my love to music very much because of my mom and dad, you know, to throw it back in the family court there. But,
God bless America.
Like, there you go. You know, I remember being like a 5-year-old kid sitting in the lounge, you know, at our family home, and my mom literally blasting to the point of speakers distorting, you know, like Dire Straits and Michael Jackson and REM and like all the sort of greats, you know. It's like I'm forgetting so many right now. And so for me, it's like weird, man. I mean, it's like I not to get too philosophical, but it's like I do think a large, you know, the word nostalgia gets treated almost like a dirty word nowadays.
True.
You know, but I would say a lot of what I'm involved with in my life is sort of chasing nostalgia in a strange way. And it's like when I think about music, it's like, it's that feeling that I got being a kid sitting in the lounge with my mom, watching Robbie Williams live in Nedworth, blasting into the speakers, freaking like, there you go, dude. That it's to this day, he is one of the best freaking frontman on the planet. And
I saw him when he came down.
Oh, dude, I missed that. I regret missing that. How was he? Like, how was that?
Amazing, dude. Let's no, but like the way you're telling the story, I just want you to carry on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, dude, I'm loving it, dude.
That's
when
awesome.
you mention Dire Straits, Mark Knopfler, nostalgia, I mean, you get it.
Hundreds, man. I mean, dude, when my folks moved to the States, that was one of the big things that we had to like protect, was the family vinyl collection. It's like, that cannot get damaged. That has to go with us,
Totally.
And then with my dad, so my mom was very much like the old school rock and roll stuff, the old school pop stuff from like the 60s, 70s and 80s and early 90s. And then my dad, on the way to school every day, it was classic FM and classical music and that side of things. And then every now and then, because my dad's from the United States, country music, So I got like a really full sort of like musical education. And even then, thinking about my interest in film and my interest in working in sound with film, it's like, to me, it's like, it's that feeling of rainy days during the school holidays, being taken to the movie house with my brothers and sisters and two random friends to go and watch the new movie and be on and look at the big screen, and like, staying up till 2:00 in the morning watching our favorite movies. So it's interesting. The more I kind of look back on my life, a lot of it is that chasing that nostalgic feeling of being like that feeling, But as far as playing guitar, I mean, and being a musician, when I really started like getting interested in it and wanting to do it more and wanting to, to actually start doing it, for me, the big three of bands back in the day, and there were so many bands that I love, but for me, the big three was Linkin Park, Korn, and Slipknot. It's like there were so many other bands, but they were like the big three. And the funny thing is, the first thing that I actually wanted to do when it came to playing in a band was I wanted to be a scratch DJ. I wanted to be Joe Hahn from Linkin Park or Sid from Slipknot. That was actually the goal. I was like, I want to be the guy who samples stuff and like scratches and like does that kind of thing. So I saved up my birthday money. I got birthday money from my friends and my parents for my 12th birthday. And we went to Cash Crusaders and I was like, I'm buying a CDJ. This is what I want to freaking do. And when I say DJ, I'm not talking about the guy who just presses play. I'm talking about the dudes who actually like use it as a creative tool.
Yeah, no, totally.
And so we get to Cash Crusaders and the CDJs are a fair amount more expensive because also now you got to buy speakers, now you got to buy all these things. So my dad saw an acoustic guitar there, which I still have and is right behind me. So my dad saw this acoustic guitar, this old Santa Fe for like $700, and he was like, well, why don't you buy a guitar? Why don't you get a guitar? So I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I think I'll do that. So I got the guitar. And then from there, man, I mean, it was, we were very fortunate that one of the guys at the school that I was going to gave guitar lessons. So I went for guitar lessons. My mom had this old guitar book from when she was a kid with like the basic chords in it. So I would, spend hours and hours learning those guitar chords. And from there, like I said, the goal was then to be freaking Mick Thompson from Slipknot, or to be Brad Delson from Linkin Park, or Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit, or Mark Knopfler, or those dudes, So I saved up again for my birthday, got $1,500 when I was like 13 or whatever, and bought like an old shitty Silvertone guitar with a little 15-watt amp that was distortion. That really wasn't distortion. It was just, let's just make this sound like crap. And the wonderful thing, there you go. And the wonderful thing about like the school that I was at was a bunch of people at the school were getting interested in music, right? And at that point in my life, I was going to this, little conservative Christian school, and I had my buddies there, and we would like go to the youth group on Friday nights, and then eventually they changed it to Saturday. And the reason I say that is the same friend of mine, a guy named Hayden, if he's watching, what's up, dude? We started like the school band together, right? So every Monday we would get to play the same freaking 3 songs, but still we got to play in front of a school of like 700 kids. So that was almost like the first gigs, you know what I mean? In a weird way, it was playing for the school band. Totally. And then with the youth group that we were going to at this church that we were going to at the time, what the beautiful thing was on a Saturday, because they would do this youth group thing like the whole day on Saturday kind of thing, and they would just give us free run of the stage, so we could go on there and literally jam for like 6 hours on a Saturday, just playing random stuff with like whoever was there, and it was a really cool like melting pot of the starting experience. At this point I was like, no, I don't want to be playing this crappy church music, because I do think a lot of it is shit, but sorry to get blunt.
No, dude, it's your
not all of it. I mean, but
dude, have you seen some like gospel drummers are my favorite?
Oh, dude. I'm not talking about gospel,
Chris
dude.
Coleman.
Like, totally, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not talking about gospel, man. Gospel is a whole other beast. That is the musicians who play that. It's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah,
but I'm talking
sure.
like the like high school Hillsong, like that kind of stuff.
I hear you.
Where it's like everybody liked it because you had to like it, not because you actually like it. Don't get me wrong, they've got some good music nowadays, but back then it was really not the greatest thing.
Sure.
At least not for me. But again, I think that was also because being in that environment, you felt pressured to like that, because it was like, what do you mean you don't like them and you like this evil band Slipknot,
Yeah.
And I got into a lot of trouble for
did
that.
Did you get a lot of that, dude? Because that sounds interesting. Because you said you went to a Christian school and all that kind of stuff. You liking Slipknot and all the heavy bands. I mean, I'm sure you could have got a little bit of stick for that.
Well, that's it, dude. I mean, I'm super fortunate that I have the mom and dad that I have, where it's like, and don't get me wrong, not everything was bad about going to that school, and
sure.
Many of my lifelong friends are people that I still know from those days and everything. But we were certainly, I'm very fortunate to have the parents that I had, because they were incredibly open-minded. So a lot of Christian schools at the time were saying things like Harry Potter's evil, bloody, bloody, blah, Tazos are evil, blah, blah. Dude, the amount, everything was evil. You could just freaking
Harry Potter's evil?
I mean, dude, 100%. That was the thing. Listen. So, and then my mom, the hilarious thing about it was my mom, so the school was like, don't take your kids to go and watch Harry Potter because it's a satanic movie, bloody, bloody, blah. So my mom, and this gives you an idea of the kind of mom I had, she took us to go watch Harry Potter with her, and then wrote a letter to the school telling them to shut up, and that it's like, she thought it was an amazing expression of imagination, and she would absolutely encourage us to watch us because of the values that it inspires, and how it inspires like standing up for what you believe,
sparks creativity.
So 100%, dude. And we were always the kids where, like, on the last day of school, the windows were down and we were blasting Alice Cooper Schools Out. It's like, we were those guys, so you can imagine all the other people who thought that was like dude, 100%. And then rock up to school in the morning blasting War Pigs by freaking Black Sabbath, dude. That was my childhood, man.
Afterwards, Art, we're gonna play a game of Quidditch.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Let's go. Yeah, dude,
I solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Hey?
But that's the thing, dude. It's like, although we were in that environment, I mean, my parents obviously wanted us to go to that kind of school because at the time they thought that it would instill certain values in us and that kind of thing. But they were very open. It's like I grew up watching Star Wars when I was 6 years old, and Harry Potter, and blasting, rock and roll and all that jazz. And it was awesome, man. And but that said, being in those social circles, being the guy who listened to things like Linkin Park and Slipknot and that kind of thing in those particular times. I mean, we're talking over 20 years ago at this point, well over 20 years ago.
Oh, dude,
it's like I went through a lot of what's that?
No, I said you're giving away our age, bro.
Oh yeah. No. Dude, I was working it out the other day, and I was like, holy shit, that was how long ago? Like, what? Damn, I'm getting old. The fact that like after Eric, the whole of Red Helen's either engaged or married, I was like, wow, dudes, we're getting old. We're getting old. But anyways, so I did get a lot of shtick from from in those communities and stuff. But and that's actually a kind of a cool segue into when I started getting involved with the metal scene, because
100%.
I was in those environments, but I was always, although I had my close friends, I was always sort of seen as the outcast. I was always seen as sort of the black sheep of the group. And then come the age of about 14, I met I changed schools, still another Christian school, and then we decided we actually saw a poster for Bells Fest 2 at Sundowners here in Alberton, right? And this buddy of mine, we were like, dude, we have to go and watch that, we have to go to that. So went to my mom and dad. I'm like 14, 15 years old, probably 14, close to 14, and I was like, please mom, like I really want to go to the show. There's bands playing and they're metal bands, like I've never like seen local metal bands. I mean, at this point, sure, like I was my parents were super cool. They always took us to theater shows. We, whenever there was an international artist that came over, we always went to watch them. It's like, all the greats that came here, and that was my, you know, part of my musical education. But I'd never seen like metal bands live, you know. So we get to freaking, I'll never forget, we get to Sundowners, and my mom and dad at the time weren't too sure what to make of this, and they were like, okay, you can go, but you're only staying till 6 p.m. You're only staying till 6 p.m. So like the sun goes down, you coming home. Okay, that's cool, deal. Let's do it.
And you missed
So
the headliners.
Missed the headliners, sadly, but you know,
dude,
that's actually kind of,
my parents are exactly the same. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm finding so many similarities between our upbringing. It's crazy because awesome. I also put a lot of what I do to my folks and what I listen to, and I mean, I remember getting dropped off at school with my dad blasting the Rumors album from Fleetwood Mac and you know, stuff like that.
That's
but
awesome.
I just wanted to point that out, that like I'm finding so many similarities between our vibe.
That's
it's
super
amazing,
cool, dude. That's awesome, man. That's super cool, dude. That's awesome.
Amazing. But anyway, yeah, so your musical journey, and about I've just been told that we got about 15 minutes left till the load shedding.
Oh shit. Okay, I better speed this up then.
No. Listen, 15 minutes is good. Like but we have to talk about Red Helen, dude.
Yeah, oh, cool. 100%. Well, this will actually play into that. Let's rock and roll.
Let's go.
So yeah, man. So, you know, so we go to the show, and dude, I remember it was like Your Name in Neon, freaking The Dead Will Tell, Deity's Muse, all these guys. And my mind was just blown, dude. I was like, I have to do that. Like, that's what I want to freaking do. I want to be on stage playing like in like a local like metal band, you know, or rock band or whatever. So the same friends that I had in school, we started out, you know, a band back in the day, and it was literally, dude, like it was myself on guitar, a dude named Brooklyn Pacati, he was on vocals, and then a dude named Donovan Turvey on drums, dude. And we would just every Thursday we would, you know, meet up at Donovan's house, and we would just rock out, dude, for hours and try and like write tracks. And around that time, I mean, being a huge Korn fan, I was like, I can't be a Korn fan and not have a 7-string guitar, right? So went to a little market, found a cheap ass 7-string guitar for like $1,000, which is the blue guy you saw, which is also right behind me.
Yes,
and that was it, dude. And I was like, I'm gonna be the dropped A guy. Like, I want to play low, you know. And yeah, dude. So we started jamming, and you know, one of my favorite things, dude, was to like after shows, I really always try to make a point, like whenever I attended shows, to go up to like the local bands and tell them like, that was awesome. I loved that. That was so good.
For sure.
Which was super cool because it resulted in getting to meet a lot of the guys and hang out with a lot of the dudes. And, you know, at that point we had written a couple tracks, and we were like, dudes, we need to go to studio. We need to like record this, you know, we need to record a song. So that's when I hit up my buddy Dylan Ellis, who's still a friend of mine to this day. He lives in Vancouver, and he owned a studio called Inner Flame Studio. And, you know, and he gave us like this awesome discount. I think it was something crazy, like 200 Rand for the song. Bearing in mind, it's like bass vocals and drums. Guitar vocals and drums.
You're all up in North America, hey?
Yeah, 100%, awesome, dude. And we recorded that track, dude. And like we wrote that song, I think like the day before. And it was a song called Salvation of the Deceived Mind back in the day. And it was like a rap rock kind of thing, which is pretty cool. And then and Dill was playing for a band called Asai, who I loved. And then his guitar player was a guy called Dave Friedman, who you might know from Plug Music Agency and Dirty Moonshine. Yeah. So I met Dave back then when I was like 15 years old. And then he started playing for a band called Is That Blood. And I absolutely loved Is That Blood, dude. They were the coolest thing ever back in the day. And so he landed up sort of taking the weird role as like our manager, and he got us our very, very first show, which ironically was organized by Toomey from Monster. He was the guy who organized that show back in the day. Yeah, dude. So it's kind of weird when you look at things in the scene, how things like all these little connections and buttons of all the guys who've been doing this together for ages, you know. So we played that first show. We had like a crowd of 5 people. I threw a box of cornflakes out as a free prize. It was the most random thing ever.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Who wants a free cornflakes?
Dude, it was exactly that. It was me practicing and I wasn't even the front man, dude. I just took the mic from the singer and I was like, yeah, go mad and we'll throw out cornflakes. And then like threw the cornflakes out into the crowd of 5 people who were just staring at us. And then, dude, it's so funny thinking to like what a Red Helen show is like nowadays. Cause it's like, I still tried to get them to do a Wall of Death. Yeah. It didn't work at all.
Dude, at the Attila show and at Winterfest, you guys killed it with that Wall of Death. Both times,
thank you.
dude.
Thanks very much, man. Yeah, but that's the thing is like it's so funny thinking about that shit, and then like thinking back to the first show where I was like, "Wall of Death, split it," and eventually just gonna be like, "Okay, we're gonna keep playing now. Thanks," you know.
No,
But
dude,
yeah, dude. And
I
after
love
that,
the.
dude,
Yeah,
hundreds.
go ahead.
And
Yeah,
after
I love
that,
it.
dude, I was hooked, man. Like from there, it was just, you know, and what's funny is that night a band called Kill the Messenger played. And funny enough, at the very, very first show that I ever went to, which was the Yonoremi Neon, there was a band called Alchemy that was playing. And Alchemy is still around today, but they're a cover band nowadays. But back then they were a metalcore band that became Kill the Messenger. So I met Spencer and Liam,
Spencer Harvey, the drummer, right? Or
Spencer Martin, who went on to go
Martin
sing for
from
Newtown Knife
Newtown
Gang.
Knife
Yeah.
Gang. Yeah.
Exactly, dude. So again, it's weird all these little connections, and they
Also
played.
Sundowners.
That's it. Yeah. And then they changed Alchemy to Kill the Messenger, and they played the same day. They played the first show that we played. They played at that show, and then obviously Liam many years later would jam with Red Helen, which is really cool. And obviously Spence was, you know, a really, I mean, he's been a, you know, buddy of mine for years, and he was again one of the guys putting in the good word for me at Audio Militia. And but yeah, dude, from there I was hooked, man. And that band back, you know, was the Hammer of Redemption back in the day, and that went through many different, you know, formations and lineups and that kind of thing over time. And you know, that's you know, one of my favorite bands back in the day, South African band, was a band called Hisha Burn, which was fronted by a dude called Will van Staden. And you know, we were looking for a vocalist because Brooklyn had left the band. He had other things that he wanted to do. And this is 15-year-old me, and Will was like 32 at the time, and he was the first guy to really give us a shot as far as like, these kids have got something, like let me sort of mentor them and get involved and like, you know, start jamming with them. And he joined the Hammer of Redemption, and he was a very, very big mentor for us because he'd done a lot of really cool stuff at that point. And then yeah, man, I mean, gone through lineup changes. I landed up studying at the Campus of Performing Arts, which was a dream come true for me because I'd been wanting to do that since, you know, junior high or whatever. And funny enough, then while being at the Campus of Performing Arts, I ran into Greg. And Greg, funny enough, the bass player for Red Helen, he and I had met when I was 10 years old. Crazy. So we actually did karate classes together when we were 10 years old. So when I ran into him at freaking Copa, I was like, whoa, dude, what are you doing here? Like, that's crazy, you know? So we met up there. And the funny thing is my band, The Hammer of Redemption, which at this point was a completely different lineup. And we had released, you know, a couple singles, and we started working with Clint. And you know, at this point I was working as the weekend casual. I mean, sorry, I'm just remembering things as I go along, but it's like, I got a job as the weekend casual at Marshall Music. And the guys working at Marshall Music was Sean from Warthane and Clint from One Day Sky, and then another dude called Jabu. And those guys, again, I think I've just, you know, when I think back, it's like I was very fortunate to have a lot of really, really awesome mentors, you know, and those dudes were, you know, it's like Warthane were like God level metal band back in the day. So to get to hang out with Sean Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and like learn from him and to hear stories, and he would, you know, blast metal DVDs, and then Jobs would play gospel stuff, and then Michelle, who was the manager, would play punk stuff, and I'd have this opportunity to, you know, to learn from these guys, and it was such a great opportunity, you know, to get to learn from all these people. And then, you know, at that point, the Hammer of Redemption was playing shows with Warthane, was playing shows with Red Helen, you know, the original version of Red Helen, which was completely different to now. The only, you know, remaining member is Eric, essentially. He was the guy who started the whole band back in the day. And I believe it was the very, very first Cranked Up Fest, right? So it was the very, very first one. It was an all local lineup. And I think we opened up the main stage, if I'm correct on that day. We were the first band up, and Red Helen were right after us. And so the Hammer of Redemption, I got on stage and I was playing guitar and I was clean singing. But my vocalist at the time, who's still one of my best friends to this day, Craig, whom I've known since I was a kid, he was the front man, but he was too terrified to speak to the crowd. He was absolutely terrified to speak to the crowd. So I would be the guy as the guitar player who have to be like, let's move, come on, do your thing, you know? So the guys from Red Helen saw that, and they heard me scream in between takes, right? Like just be like, let's move, whatever. And then they saw that, and that particular day, that's it. Yeah, dude. And it's so funny how like, again, the little like dots kind of connect. But that particular day, Matt was sick, and Matt who plays drums for Red Helen at the time,
Matt
was
Sletcher.
doing drums, and Matt Sletcher, exactly.
Yeah.
And that day, Matt was, he at the time he was doing the whole Aaron Gillespie thing, where he was screaming and singing at the same time, so doing the whole mic next to him kind of vibe. But that particular day he was sick, so he didn't have a voice. So every time he screamed, it sounded absolutely dreadful. Like to this day, we still rag on him to this day about
That's amazing.
it. It was just so funny, man.
You got to give the guy props for trying to do both at the same time, though. You got to be honest. Like, I mean, that's
dude.
like, that's commitment. You're like, someone's not able to do it, I got to do it,
Totally,
Big
dude.
props.
I still think he had a cool freaking voice, dude. I still
For
try to
sure.
convince him to do like backing vocals after that. I was like, no ways, dude. Like, do this with
At
me.
least for the album, bro. At least for the album. Let's go.
Hundreds, dude. But after that, dude, I think after that experience, he was just like, I'm tapping out, like not doing that, But what's cool about that day was the same day I saw Mike Naranjo from One Day Sky standing in the crowd, right? So I like to put people on the spot from the stage. So I was like, not One Day Sky, excuse me, One Day Remains. And I was like, Mike, One Day Remains, get over here, like forced him to the front of the stage. And
you scorpioned him, get over here.
Totally, dude. Totally. That's a good way of putting it. And what was cool about that was, from that, I met Mike backstage and we were hanging out. And then about a week later, the guys from Red Helen called me and they were like, yo, dude, the screaming you were doing on stage, do you think you could do that, like a lot more of that, So I was like, yeah, I'm sure I could. So they were like, do you want to come try out for vocals? Because we're thinking about getting a front man. And at this point, Greg had joined the band and, that was a very different Red Helen to the original Red Helen. So I was like, and I knew that they were insane musicians because Eric also went to the campus of performing arts and he and I would hang out during like recess time or break time kind of thing at Copa. So I knew Eric, we'd all play shows together a million times, I love the dudes. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll give that a try. And, went for the audition. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, came with and she was like proper nervous. She was like, I don't know if can you do this? Like, is this
That's
awesome. Okay. Like, is this all right? So
I
was like,
thanks for the backup, my love.
Oh, totally. Oh, dude,
the support.
She's been so like insanely supportive over the years, dude.
No.
Like
Justine,
like, that's it. Yeah,
That's
Justine.
right.
Hundreds. Dude, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say that I would not have been able to do half of the amazing things that I've gotten to do if it wasn't for her and her amazing support over the years, dude. She really has been incredible. It's like she's been such a massive part of my journey, dude. And it's so funny because we often joke, it's like we'll play shows and there'll be like the little row of like girls up front like losing their mind, for the band, and she said it so many times, dude. She's just at the back on her phone, like not interested, but all the girls in front are losing their marbles,
Listen, we've got to give the wives and girlfriends some respect because at the end of the day,
dude.
Because at the end of the day, they hear the songs from their infancy and they hear it and you're like, oh babe, what do you think? Oh babe, can you hear the difference? They're like, well, I can't hear the difference between this mix and the last mix. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's unfortunately
100%, dude.
For any musicians out there, let's do this. And Art, you can fill in here. I know we don't have much time left, but I'm hoping this load shedding actually doesn't even kick in. But who knows?
I'm hoping as well.
Yeah. Brandon, actually, on that note, if it does kick in, we have to do part 2, dude, because I haven't even touched the surface with you, my dude. But
I'm so sorry I've been such a freaking chatterbox, guys. It's once I get started,
I love it. No. Please don't apologize. This is what we love. Even Art loves it. Crocodile hands. But at the end of the day, if you're an aspiring musician, try save showing your wife or partner as close to finished as possible, because the first time she's hear it, she's going to hear exactly the same thing that she heard the last time, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, dude.
But, yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of it, is like
they get
the wives and girlfriends. For sure, dude. But the beauty of it is like the wives and girlfriends, because they go to so many shows, they know what a good show is and they know what a bad show is. So like if Justine tells me like after a show, it was okay, I know that she's got like 500 shows context to know what is good and what's bad. But if she goes, that was a good show, then I can be like, oh yeah, okay, I feel good about that one, because my wife, who would not bullshit me if it was a bad show, she's telling me it was a good show. So
totally did. And they know, and then you know what the great thing is, they're honest.
Yeah, 100%.
You sounded a bit off tonight. You weren't as good as last show. That's like, it's like the worst. But they're honest. Dude, I love it. Honesty is the best policy. But dude, so then Eric he plays with Jesse Clegg, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, so Eric was obviously, so Eric jams for Jesse Clegg, and then are we good? What's happening?
Yeah, I think I think Art's telling everybody to subscribe to the channel.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I was just, I was worried he was like counting down to like load shedding. I was like, oh, it's 1 minute to 8. It's 1 minute to 8.
If we listen, for the listeners, if we get cut off, it happens. Brandon's gonna come back. He's gonna come back for round 2. But we've already discussed this. If we cut off, it is what it is. But I don't want to finish this conversation until I'm absolutely satisfied. And I love having this conversation with you, dude. And so
thank you
what
so
I was
much,
saying
dude.
is he plays with Jesse Clegg. Then you've got Greg, who's literally, he really introduced me into like real proper bass playing, like with the thumb.
It's awesome.
And then the slapping with it's amazing. Oh shit, we're on 8 o'clock already.
It's 8 o'clock.
Ooh, we're cutting it by, thank you,
and
Escom.
the countdown has begun.
Escom. Yeah. 100%. But anyway,
Don't
totally, dude.
the hatch, bro. While we're still on, there's some comments here. I'm just gonna.
Okay,
Go for it.
Okay.
We got a few people asking about 16 stitch gecko fly. 16 stitch were awesome. Josh Grady, where can I find 16 stitch? Must listen to them. And then we have got Sandra Pratt saying this much earlier, and your iconic shorts. And
yes,
damn.
And Duncan Alla's always cool to hear the background story on how artists and bands started.
Who's that?
Shit.
Duncan,
what's up,
Always.
dude?
Thank you, Duncan. That's great. This is the whole point. What we're trying to do here at Papa G's house, we're trying to create an encyclopedia for awesome South African music. That's what we're trying to do. That's what this podcast is all about. We're creating a timeline, a history. Let's go.
Thank you so much for including me in that, man.
No,
I really
Brandon,
do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Before we cut out, or before the stuff, I just want to tell you something. Red Helen is on my Mount Rushmore of South African music that I listen to. Got to be honest with you, everybody says I float boats and I kiss ass and all that kind of stuff. I'm being 100% honest. You saw me. You actually called me out in the crowd at Winterfest and you said, Gareth, and you saw me singing every single word.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, there's a few bands in South Africa that I know every word to the album, and Red Helen Trading Pathways is one of them.
Oh, dude, that means a lot. Thank you very much, dude. That really does mean more than you know. Thank you.
For sure.
On that note, while we're talking about Winterfest, you guys slayed that day. Like, for reals. You guys were amazing, dude. I'm so glad you guys didn't go before us, because I would have shat myself knowing I had to follow you guys, because you guys were insane.
Dude, we've shared the stage a couple times, and what band was that? I can't remember.
Oh, that was Atlantic South, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude,
I think that might have been Rick's first show. I think actually
at Winterfest, it might have been, but then the show that we played at Attila was Kyle's first show.
Yes.
It's a lot of firsts in Atlantic.
And you guys
South.
were killer at Attila as well, dude. You guys were freaking awesome. Shame, I remember that night, I was so sick with flu, dude. Like, I was like out of my mind.
I remember
like,
you told me, dude, but you stuck around.
Oh, dude. Yeah, dude, I tried my best, bro. I tried my freaking best. Like, it was one of those things where it's like I mean, I usually, not to be funny, but it's like being the singer of a band. It's like the chances that I'll lose my voice if I'm at a club too long before a show, because you're yelling, it's like, and you want to talk to people, and I'm as you've seen, I'm a chatterbox, so it's like I want to get in and chat to people. So I actually had to like cap myself and be like, okay, you only get to the venue an hour before the show, or you're not gonna have a voice by the time you get on stage.
For sure.
Which sucks, because I want to support local bands, but it's like you got to do what you got to do. Sorry, you all good?
No, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. And that's going to happen in this podcast. It happens with everybody. It's sometimes with the virtual, I just want to say something and I want to get it out there, and I apologize.
Dude,
but guys, let me know in the comments. If you guys want to have Brandon Pratt back for a round 2, because we haven't even really touched on Red Helen, really, dude.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true, bro.
So if it's cool with you, I would love to do a part 2 in the next couple of weeks, if you're happy with that.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. I would be my pleasure,
I want to get
dude.
I want to get the most out of you, because this is also been one of my favorite episodes. And
thank you so much,
and I really want to
that.
continue this conversation, but I'm so eagerly stressed about this load shedding just cutting us straight off, But
Yeah,
let's
totally.
give it a couple of more minutes. So just in
Cool.
essentially in closing, because I mean Art is letting me know that we're about to be shut off. I hope it's not. Let's just quickly check the app quickly. Let's see if it's maybe been suspended or something.
Hopefully they've
while
given
you
like that.
check-
Good news, it's been suspended.
Yeah, dude, if it's been suspended, it'll be amazing.
Now, while you check that, we got a few people having a massive discussion.
Have you muted me so everybody can hear you properly?
Yes. Massive discussion on how to find and where to find 16 stitch. I think you started something here, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, we started that 16 stitch train.
Stitch wants everybody wants 16 stitch back by the seams, by the sounds
Yeah.
of things.
I think, dude, like I must actually like ask the dudes and be like, you guys have to put the albums up on Apple Music or something, man. Because I also, I mean, I've still got the physical CDs. So I've still got like the Collapse of Air and Beautiful Angelic Parasite. But I think the only place that you check it out is probably YouTube nowadays, eh? I don't think it's on any other streaming platforms.
Yeah,
but
I've only got
we must get the guys to do that. We should start a petition online and get them to do it.
Yeah.
I've only got a few 16 stitch tracks that were from those Blunt magazine collections. There was
Blood Magazine, dude.
Let's see.
What is it?
It says we are currently load shedding. so
Well,
thanks, Esco.
that means somebody's being currently load shedded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my
Hopefully
area,
not you
but we'll
guys.
see. So, I mean, listen, we let the listeners know that this is going to be the case. We might be hit with load shedding, but dude, quickly.
To be honest, we should do like a full episode just nerding out about like all the old awesome South African bands, dude. I mean, even now that I'm thinking about it with JP on the freaking list, JP, I remember Hey Let's Burn Paris. I freaking loved that, dude. So
Amazing.
we need to do an episode just nerding about old school SA bands. Bro.
Okay.
We've got a couple of comments saying that you definitely have to come on for episode 2 for a second session, and I totally agree with that.
For sure.
Awesome. I would love to. Thank you. That's awesome.
So let's do that. So the next episode that we're gonna do, obviously, because I don't want to be cut off, and we gotta say how's it to the listeners and all that kind of jazz, and I don't want to leave them high and dry.
All good.
So the next plan is we're gonna get you back on for round 2 in the next couple of weeks. That we will choose your availability. We can even make a special show for other than a Thursday if it's necessary. But then the plan is the first half of the episode is we're gonna concentrate solely on Red Helen. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
And then the second half of the episode, you're gonna come with the list. Art's gonna come with the list, and I'm gonna come with the list.
That's
and
a
then
great
we're
idea.
all gonna hit it up. And then then when we're done with that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna share the video as much as possible to get those people who are in those bands interested to come on, tell their own story, and maybe, who knows, maybe they'll do a little bit of a reunion of sorts. Who knows?
I think
What do you
that's
think?
an awesome idea. 100%. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sweet. But listen, going on about the Red Helen shows at Attila and Winterfest and all the shows that I've seen you, also the fact that I housed you and I didn't even go to the show. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
and then Eric and Greg were and the alarm went off at like 3 a.m. and the guys were stressed.
Oh, dude.
And
I
they came
sleep
to
through
me
everything, so I only heard about that the next morning. I didn't even know that happened.
and then it was just, I just remember Eric looking like he had seen a ghost when the alarm was going off. I woke up, I was like half like dear my car and a little bit hungover and all that kind of stuff. We still need to get to the reason why I didn't make the show, dude.
Oh, right. I want to hear this.
Yeah,
well, dude, on that note, thank you so much for giving me a bed to sleep that night. Because usually, like when we go on tours, it's like sleeping on couches or the floor. So
Sure.
the fact that we got back from the venue and I was like, you mean I have a bed? And it's all to myself?
Yeah,
Wow.
dude. It's crazy, man. But it was so
But
good.
no, I want to
remember-
hear this. I want to hear all about
I remember
it.
when you guys left my house and I said, listen guys, I need your merch. I will EFT you. And then Greg came out and he goes, hello Gareth, here's a cap for your head.
That is actually a very good Greg impersonation. I must give you credit on that one. That's a very good Greg impersonation.
Gareth, here's a cap for your head. There's a t-shirt for your body. And there's a CD for your ears. That's what he said to me. I'll never forget it until the day I die. That was one of the funniest moments I've had with you guys. You guys are hilarious. I mean, you guys really, the banter is that's what a band should be all about, is the banter between you guys is amazing,
Dude,
eh?
The road trips are the best, bro. The road trips are the best. It is literally like if we're driving to Durban, from Joburg, it's 5-6 hours. Driving to Cape Town, the quickest you've gotten there is like 15 hours. The longest is like 19 hours. And it's like, dude, it's 19 hours of like hosing ourselves and like mocking each other in the funniest ways and making jokes and like just being a bunch of like dude, it's one of my favorite things, dude. Is like I'm so fortunate that I'm in a band with like 3 of my best friends, and people that I love spending time with as much as I love playing music with, so some of my favorite moments, dude, is like driving, somewhere and like we're crying with laughter
overnight to Joburg or overnight to Cape Town from Joburg. Insane.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. It's rough.
That's dedication, brother. But listen, before we get cut off, we know you're coming back for a second episode. I couldn't be happier and more thankful that you came on this episode today. You know what? You're such a positive breath of fresh air. Just your attitude permeates.
Thanks so much, dude.
It permeates through the screen to me. It's like I can feel your energy that you're giving off in the room. It's just one of the most special. And I also experience that when I'm with you in person as well, dude. You give us such great energy. You're a positive person. You've always had such a great outlook on life. I follow you on Instagram purely because of, obviously I love Red Helen, but on the basis that you're a good follower. You're not like other people who complain. You just give positive updates. Love, like my mom's doing great. Everybody's doing great. I love it, dude. I couldn't be happier. Keep doing what you're doing, dude, because you're inspiring a lot of people to not only apply that same attitude, but at the same time do the things that you're doing and making great music.
Oh, that means more than you know, dude. Thank you very, very much, dude. And on that note, dude, again, thank you so much for having me on your show, dude. It's like so many like South African artists that I love and respect have been on here, and I consider it an honor. So thank you very, very, very much, dude.
The honor's all mine, my dude. But remember, we're round 2. Let's cut it right there, just so I don't want to cut you off, because if it gets cut off and everybody's like, what? It will be like, what? Papa G's so rude, bro. So anyway, let's cut it there. We're gonna get you back on in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna get in contact with you. We're gonna set it up, and we're gonna do Brandon Pratt round 2.
Oh, dude, sounds like a freaking fun time, man. Sounds
all
like
right,
a hell of a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much.
100%. And what everybody needs to do right now is they need to go check out Trading Paths for Pathways on YouTube, on Spotify. There's a couple of videos up on YouTube. You need to follow them on Instagram. Follow Brandon Pratt. Brandon David Pratt on Instagram. Follow Red Helen on Facebook, Instagram, the whole bang shoot. We're going to talk about Greg and Eric and Matt and whole album next time. But thank you, dude, so much for joining the show. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry that we pressed the time.
Oh, it's totally good, dude. All good, all good. Thank you guys so much again. And if I can throw one little teaser out there real quick, just to tantalize the taste buds, I can confirm that we are working on new Red Helen music. And all I'm saying is we're filming a music video next weekend. I can't say much more about when it's going to be released or what's going on, but I can say it's like, I cannot wait for people to hear this. And what's rad is for the 16 Stitch fans in the comments, it's actually funny enough being produced by Nick from 16 Stitch.
Sick.
Recorded at Audio Militia. So if I can leave it on that note, that's like super, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up that you guys can be pumped for. So yeah. So
amazing, dude. Thank you so much. Art, what are you going to say to Brandon?
We got a comment here from Rick. Said, wait. Which one is G? Lol. I'm sure you guys have the same parents. You even sound the same. 2 really good oaks.
That's crazy, dude.
But the sounds of it, we had the same childhood, dude.
Yeah, no, dude, totally. Like, listen, that's kind of scary, but we're going to talk about that next time. So I'm super stoked to have you. Brandon Pratt, everybody, and Red Helen, Audio Militia, just such an all-around great dude. We'll see you next time in the next couple of weeks, my man. Good to see you. Love you lots.
Love you guys too, man. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. See you soon.
Sweet, brother. All the best.
Awesome. Peace out, gents. Bye.
All right, man, that was amazing. What kind of just such positive attitude does he portray? And like, does he? I mean, that's not even forced, dude. That's just the way he is. It's incredible. But that's been a fairly long episode. I don't even know how long we've been going, dude.
Almost
like an hour and a half or so.
We have been going for 1 hour and 13 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But guys, listen, follow, go check out. If you haven't checked out Trading Paths for Pathways, it's a bit of a tongue twister every now and again. Go check it out. It's on Spotify, YouTube. They've got Ode to the Corrupt videos on YouTube and more. I mean, Ode to the Corrupt was one that I just mentioned now. What's that? What's that, dude?
I called Ramon Rick, so...
Oh shit! Oh shit! Drink!
You called Ramon Rick? Damn.
I did.
That's funny.
I did.
That's a compliment there.
Yeah, should be.
So,
Dude, like, I think that must have been a record so far of the amount of name drops in an interview.
Yeah. He's just connected with all of the people that we were following back in the day. You know, it's just insane. I love it. It's just surround yourself with people that inspire you, and then you're going to be inspired and you're going to do good things as well. And also, you know what, by name dropping and all that kind of stuff, those are all people that we got to get on the podcast next, dude. Right?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a great episode. You know, what we were going to do, we were going to feature a new segment tonight, but I'm just worried that we're going to get cut off. We're going to do Outrageous from next week. Outrageous, where we're going to get Art just to rage about something that irritates him or something. You know, we mentioned last week that, you know, I'm the like happy-go-lucky dude, and then Art kind of balances me out in the sense that, you know, he likes to complain about certain things, like, you know, for instance, mayonnaise. We'll talk about mayonnaise next week, but dude, it's been great. It was a bit stressful in the beginning, but we will get there. We'll get the comments up next week. It's something that, you know, it's a teething process, but at the end of the day, dude, what a great episode. Wow, how nice is Brandon as just a dude to talk to.
Yeah, dude, it was really cool. I was just super bummed that we had such freaking technical difficulties in the beginning there when last week it went so smooth, but apparently we still got the mic issue. So when I'm talking, you're on mute, and when you're talking, I'm on mute.
Well, that's really just the way that, I mean, who cares? I mean, it is what it is. It's something that we'll figure out down the line. Whatever, dude. It was great. But without further ado, guys, don't forget to hit a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow Papa G's House for all the updates for when the episode's going to go live. We're doing a lot more updates on social media, obviously, because we're a team now. There's more people. We are able to advise you a lot more ahead of time when the episodes are going to go live. I'm actually going to be talking to a USA artist next week, Nathaniel Shannon. Our Plug Music Agency, Warren Gibson's got me in touch with them. Some pretty dark, folky, kind of interesting music. So I'm looking forward to it. Another international artist coming out of Brooklyn, New York. So I'm looking forward to that. Shame it's going to be super early in the morning for him when we interview him, but it is what it is. But thank you guys for all listening and interacting in the chat and giving Art all the work to do to read out all the comments in the chats and stuff. It's been really cool. Next time we'll have them up on screen, we promise. But it's been a great episode. I really enjoyed my chat with Brandon. I didn't want to cut him off, so we're going to rebook a round 2 with Brandon where we can chat purely Red Helen because he's just such a good conversation. But with that being said, this is Papa G's House, episode 74 with Brandon Pratt of Red Helen. Until then, we say peace.
I don't wanna go anywhere else. I wanna go to Papa G's. Yeah, that's where we're going.